If you're into sports betting, BetOnline is where you should go to win money today. Whether it's live bets during games or futures for who you think will win the championship, BetOnline has all the latest odds, news, and information for all your online sports betting needs. Visit the website today or use your mobile device to join and receive your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. So before the next big game, head on over to BetOnline and start playing today. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. So I don't know if you've heard, but apparently former NBA player Lamar Odom may be returning to professional basketball in Spain soon. I was reading a press release about how he started taking a pH balancing alkaline supplement called Balance 7, and that's what has helped him bounce back from his hospitalization in 2015. He even said, "I have an enormous amount of energy, which is good for me. It's important when working out. I always need energy to level up." Couldn't agree with that more, Lamar. After watching him fight Aaron Carter in July's celebrity boxing match, I think it's safe to say that Balance 7 is working for him. Cool thing is, we've got a promotion running with Balance 7 right now, where if you go to their website, balance7.com, and use the code BELIEVE at checkout, you'll receive a free 4-ounce bottle of My Smooth Skin with any purchase of Balance 7 products. That product retails at $13.99, so I'd say it's worth it. Again, head to balance7.com and use the code BELIEVE at checkout and get in on the promotion. I know I will. If it worked for him, it can work for you too. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my podcast. I'm your host, Polina Edmonds, and today's episode, I'm going to be covering the top 6 ladies from the Junior Grand Prix that just happened in Russia this past weekend. So without further ado, let's get right to it. In 6th place, we had Kate Wang from the USA. So Kate had a great short program. Her jumps were executed with great quality and control. She had excellent flow on her landings, was very calm into and out of her jumps. She didn't use any extra muscles. She had great landing positions that she held. Notice how she doesn't wiggle in between her triple lutz and her triple toe on her combo. She has her back upright and she covers a lot of ice on the combo. Great technique. I think she needs to show more energy in her skating movements and choreography. She's a little half energy to me right now. She needs to have some sharper movements to contrast her soft skating. Right now, everything is moving about the same speed, the same rate. She needs to work on more proper balletic arm positioning as well, especially with this music. Also work on her posture, arching her back more. Sometimes she lets her arms drop as she does crossovers or turns, and it breaks the character of the program. So every movement really needs intention. She needs to connect with the music and audience and really, really perform. Right now, she's playing it a little safe with the performance aspect of her program. I liked that she wasn't rushing, but I think this program could really be built better for her in terms of structure and her choreography. She doesn't really cover too much ice in all of her transitioning. She needs more classic patterns for all of her jumps so that she covers more ice, and I think that in turn is also going to give her more of a chance to really embody her choreography and build character. Her death drop has a great position, but she needs to land immediately in one spot and find her center right away. Right now she's landing and she's traveling a little bit before she finds her center, so that's something that she could work on. Definitely just improving the speed on her spins. That would be good. For her free skate, she needs a lot more energy in her program here as well. Her movements aren't sharp or powerful, but her music has a lot of soul and power to it. So she really needs to match the strength of the music and have sharper movements to accents of the music, develop that character. Really needs to arch her back and improve her posture, especially if she's going to wear a bodysuit in this program. There's nothing wrong with bodysuits. I love a good bodysuit, but you really need to be careful of showing perfect lines because you can see everything when you're in a bodysuit. She needs to work on the execution of her triple-triple combos. That Let's Loop, great job doing it, but there wasn't any flow on the landing of the triple loop, so that's something that she could definitely work on. And again, same thing in this program. She really needs to I think redo the structure in her program. She needs classic jump patterns so she can actually move and cover the ice, do big crossovers, have moments where she skates and flows. Right now, I feel like all of the transitions and entrances into her jumps are really short. She just does a few steps and jumps, does a few steps and spins. She just needs to fill the ice more, and that's going to help her with the overall performance quality as well, I think. She has great potential, especially with her calm jump technique. She's somebody that could definitely be on the podium, but she needs to develop that artistic side of her skating and perform with full energy. She needs to be 100% in. So yeah, good job, Kate. Next, we have Elizaveta Berestovskaia from Russia. So for her short program, she has long lines that could create such great aesthetic on the ice if used properly. Right now, her back is a little bit stiff, so she starts her program and she has some beautiful moments, but then her back just doesn't move. And I think the positioning of her arm placement is very good, but she's kind of wiry as she moves her arms, so she really needs to soften her arms a little bit, and her back. She needs to bend from her elbows and move her arms from her back shoulder blades. Really work on that back arch posture. Her jumps don't have quite enough height. She spins her jumps rather than uses her leg muscles to propel her up into the air and then snap. Her Lutz toe combo, she uses a little bit too much energy in her upper body on the takeoff and transition right before the jump. She needs to be calmer and just let her legs do the work. The Lutz toe did not have enough speed. The Lutz landed slightly short, and she leaned forward immediately too far on her reach back for her toe loop. And then the toe loop was definitely under rotated as well. And then she had the flip out as well. So needs to work on the quality of that. Her final positioning in her combo spin at the end of the program when she is transitioning to lift her leg up in that side spin, getting to that position is very unaesthetic. She really needs to work on that motion being more pretty as she moves into her position to fall in line with the character of the program. Her step sequence also needs to work on her skating skills. Her edges are very shallow. She needs to be a lot deeper, use more knee bend and control, do long edges. Right now she's very stiff and she leans forward, breaking line, rather than keeping her back arched, her shoulders stacked over her hips in an upright position and just bending her knees. What was really cool was to see that Courtney Hicks spin position in her combo spin. She did that amazingly, so that was really fun to see. In her free skate, she attempted the quad toe. She bent her free leg on both the 3-turn and the tap, and that really cuts the aesthetic, and it shortens her reach back as well. She has long lines, so she needs to use them. She needs to fully extend her free leg straight on the takeoff. In the air, she also doesn't seem to quite stretch all the way. She barely starts to scrunch up a little bit on that last rotation, and that really hurts her technique. So she needs to really stretch all the way up. And she did land at a quarter short as well on her quad. In her lutzes and flips, she also bends that free leg again on the takeoff, making for a less aesthetic jump, and she jerks her body forward in between her lutz and her toe loop in her combo. So that, again, cuts the line and flow. That's something that she can work on. Her arms are also really high on the takeoff of her lutz. So again, she can be calmer with her upper body. Just let her legs do the work. I think for this program, she's skating to circus music or a circus-esque type of feeling. I think she could use more intricate footwork in her choreography. Right now, she does a lot of interesting arm positions for the character, but I think she could really expand on that with unique, intricate skating skills. So I'd love to see that. Her step sequence, a little bit flat once again. She needs deeper edges, needs to move with freedom. She turns and sickles her foot a little bit on her side spin, turn downwards. She needs to turn it more outside for a better aesthetic when she does her layback, and then she also needs to try to get her knees closer together on her hair cutter position. Loved the inside edge donut that she did, though. That demonstrates a great skating skill on her part with the edge change in a difficult position, so kudos to her. Next we have Elizaveta Kuliakova. For her short program, she had nicely executed jumps and spins. Good job skating her program. Her skating is pretty robotic though. She needs more connection to the music and audience, more softness in her arms and her back. She really needs more fluidity in her movement. Right now she's a little bit choppy. This music, Umbrellas of Cherbourg, is very emotional, very romantic. I don't think it's appropriate for her age as a 13-year-old because she just can't emote that love story that is the song. Her choreography is a little empty until the footwork, and that's when she starts projecting more emotion and power and energy in her movements. Again, it's challenging for a 13-year-old to really be able to embody what this music and this story from this song is. I think for her, taking a lyrical piece of music where she can show beautiful movements that she doesn't need to show romance in per se would be much better for her at this age and level. The swizzle at the beginning of her program doesn't show off any skating skills. I would get rid of the swizzle. Her triple flip is also outsideed. It's an outside edge, so she really needs to fix that because it is an incorrect jump. Her triple Lutz triple toe also breaks in posture. In between the jumps, she leans forward a lot, so she needs to work on that for quality. She doesn't quite cover the ice enough for me. Her edges are a little flat in her step sequence as well, so she can really work on developing that skating skill. Her free skate, great job on skating a clean program. She has some really nice moments in it, but I would like to see her develop more character, more story in her program. She starts using emotional expressions at the very, very end, but there isn't a build to that, so she needs to really develop the entire program, not just the end. She needs to arch her back more as well. It's stiff, especially towards the end of the program when she gets tired, so that's something she really needs to always check in on. And it was great to see her land all of her jumps. It shows great mental strength on her part to be able to do that. But she needs to work on the speed, height, and ice coverage of her jumps. Right now, they're pretty small and they don't flow on the landings. So that's something she definitely needs to work on. She needs to improve her quality of her elements as she progresses. But lots of potential. Next, we have Sofia Samodelkina. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful skater. So balletic, so light. I absolutely loved her. In the short program, that triple axel fall, so painful to watch. She was not over her right side in the air, so she landed open to the left rather than checked, slammed onto the ice. Good for her for continuing without pause from that fall. She had a good recovery for the rest of the program. Nicely done, double axel and triple flip. She skates with such grace. You can tell it's just so natural for her. Her legs are always extended, turned out, and pointed, very polished. Her arms go through proper ballet positioning as she moves, and she has very soft hand flutters that really speak to her personal style. It's so elegant. Great posture. I do think she could lift her arms a little bit in fuller range when she brings her hands above her head. But I thought she used the music and the character very well. She seemed very into her music and program, really took her time on her choreography. She skates to Summer of 42. Her program is built very well. Her flying sit spin, though, she needs to work on. It does not reach a sit position in the air. To do that, she's going to need to bring her right free leg all the way in front of her at a 90-degree angle, and when her left leg tucks in the air, she needs to have her knees touch for that position to be in a sit. Right now, her legs are open. There's a lot of space in between them, so it's not a sit position, and it just doesn't look aesthetic. It doesn't fall in line with the rest of her program, so that's definitely something she needs to work on. Her final combo spin, she also travels the entire time, so she really needs to have better control, find her center, and not move while she changes positions. Her outside edge camel spin is outstanding, and her step sequence is amazing as well. She has great, deep, long edges and control. Excellent skating skills. I thought her points were much too low for her quality of skating in the short program. Her free skate, I also loved this program. She embodies the character very well, has great contrast in sharp and soft movements. The opening quad lutz, she landed it at a quarter short, but the flow of the jump was very nicely done and had great speed. However, she did not have a transition into this jump. She started her program with great choreography, and as soon as she stepped forward into crossovers at the end of the rink, She dropped her arms, dropped character, and did 5 forward pushes on 2 feet across the entire ice rink into her quadlets. So in an instant like this, give her the points for the quadlets, absolutely deservedly so, but she should be marked down on transitions for that lack of choreography and transition into the jump. The rest of the program had great choreography, though, and very aesthetic movements. She's very balletic and dances very well. Very impressive that she tried 3 quads. The Lutz was short, and the second quad sow was also short at a quarter. Her final combo spin, she also traveled a lot and lost her center in the final position and lost speed. She needs to work on the control of that. Her Bielmann also doesn't really have a side position and it travels a lot, so she needs to check on that. Her edges in this program also a little bit flatter than the short, so she really needs to show the same quality of edge control as her short program in this free skate. Overall, a fantastic skater, and I'm really excited to keep watching her. Next, we have Anastasia Zinina. For her short program, nice solid triple flip and triple Lutz triple toe. Good flow, very solid on her landings. She had nice proper edges. The double axel, she rushed the takeoff, and she doesn't get enough height. She needs to jump all the way up first before she rotates to have more time in the air. She seems to have good speed. However, she needs to work on intention with her arm positioning throughout the entire program. She's got long arms and long legs, and to really use that to her advantage, she needs to work on extension through her feet. Sometimes she doesn't point her toe all the way, and that cuts her line. She also needs to bring her shoulders way down and arch her back, especially her shoulder blades. Right now, her back is flat and doesn't move enough, and she moves her arms from her shoulders, creating a look of her shoulders being too high. Her arms also move up and down in a lot of flutter motion, which is pretty when you do it 1 or 2 times, but repeatedly over and over again, that's all she's doing. She needs to work on proper ballet positioning rather than arm flailing. She's pretty stiff in her back, so she definitely needs to work on the fluidity and the arching. She needs to not rush through her choreography as well. Right now, she has too many movements going on. She really needs to take her time through her program and create moments to pause and connect with the audience, have presence. Her opening choreography also is on 2 feet, so she could use more skating skills right off the bat. And her step sequence has very short edges. She's wiggling a lot, not holding and controlling, so she needs to really work on her edge control. The flying sit spin needs a little bit of flow as she lands into the position, but it's a pretty good positioning. In the free skate, she does an amazing opening quad toe. The ice coverage and technique was stunning. While she demonstrated great athleticism with the 2 quads, she did not have any choreography or transitions into them. She went on 2 feet from one end of the rink to the other in preparation for the jumps. There was a real lack of program there. Yes, I totally understand she's concentrating on her quads, which are incredibly difficult, but that's where she needs to get the 13 points she deserves on the jump pass, but not be scored highly in transitions and choreography. It's nice to see her land her triples and her triple-triple combo later in the program, but she needs to work on the flow of her landings and actually hold her landing position. She rushes too quickly without finishing it. She really, really needs to work on her posture in this program too. She, again, needs to arch her back, keep her shoulders down, soften her arms, move from bending her elbows. Since the first part of the program lacks a lot of movement and choreography, then at the end, her program is full of rushed arm movements. There isn't a balance to the program, so she really needs to work on the completeness of this and the aesthetic of all of her movements. Really needs to balance this out. She does show a lot of feeling in her movements, though, and uses a lot of emotion, which is great to see. So I'd really just like to see her improve her skating skills and footwork and edge quality a lot to match that. And in first place, we have Sofia Akateva. In her short program, love her skating style. I think she has very nice posture, proper positioning of her back and arms. She's a little bit stiff on some of her movements, so I'd like to see her soften her back a little bit more in her arms as she progresses with this program this season, but that's something that she's going to keep developing as she skates. Her jumps land very well. Nice triple flip and double axel. She had an impressive fight for her combo. The triple axel, triple toe, they were both a little tilted in the air and landed on the inside edge, but she hung onto the landings and wiggled to the outside. So impressive fight on that. I'd like to see her execute it over her right side with more flow as she continues this season. She needs a little bit more speed on her spins. Really needs to work on the flying sit spin. Her back leans too far forward and she doesn't hit a 90-degree angle in the air. Her final layback combo is also pretty weak. She took a very long time to get to her side position, and when she finally did get to that side, she only held it for one turn, so she should have received a level 3 for that in honesty. But she had great, deep, long edges in her step sequence. She did lose her balance on her twizzles, on 2 of her twizzles, so she needs to work on controlling her center for those. And she also needs to work on emoting with her face in this program, build a character emotionally, but very, very nice skate. I thought she looked great and very nice job. Her free skate, she demonstrated great athleticism in this program with the triple axel and the 3 quads. It's really remarkable to see young athletes pushing themselves technically. She needs to work on the quality of her landings on the big jumps though. Understandably, she's fighting to land her quads, which are extremely difficult, but I think that the judges need to be holding the same standard for how you complete a triple and how you complete a quad. If she isn't executing with solid flow, she shouldn't be earning plus GOEs for these. And in her program, she lands her triples with amazing execution, great flow. So I think there just needs to be consistency on the judging panel for the GOE marker on all the ladies' quads. I think she needs to develop her artistic side a lot more. She needs to develop more character in this program. She's skating to Mulan, but she doesn't really emote feeling into her skating. She doesn't tell a story with her choreography or emotions, which it's the start of her season. So there's a lot of time for her to improve this and work on that second mark, that artistic side. She's great. She has great potential. She could be so amazing in the future, but I think her points are extremely high for what she's putting out right now. It's great that she stretches her legs and has great skating skills, but she definitely needs to develop her complete performance. So very, very excited to continue to watch this young lady. And one more lady to analyze, our other USA skater, Maryn Pierce. So she's a very athletic and powerful skater. She has really good lines on the ice, but she needs to soften her arms. They're really straight throughout her entire program, so she needs to work on bending her elbows, having more fluidity in her arm movements, and she needs to stay centered in the air of her jumps. She starts leaning back in the air, resulting in the missed lutz. She has great speed and ice coverage, amazing flow, but I do think she could have more intricate choreography. Her transitions in her program are a little plain for me, but she has great clear edges. She just needs some more interesting spark to her program. Same thing in her free skate. She needs to work on her combos. On her solo jumps, she lands with good flow, but on her combos, she scratches her landings and cuts the flow, making her second jump at a standstill. She needs more intricate choreography in this one as well. She's a little bit playful. The music's playful, and it's great to see. I loved her ending, but she needs to do that for the entire program. Overall, this competition was in Russia. I felt like the points were still very, very high compared to the first Junior Grand Prix. I was surprised to see that a quarter turn short quad is considered clean on the score quads, and having a Q next to the jump does not deduct any points. You know, maybe that's okay to not have any point deduction, but I think that the execution points in the GOE shouldn't be higher than a 0 for a jump like that. Because otherwise, what's the point of even having a Q on a jump? To me, this rule really speaks volumes on the advantage of doing under-rotated quads for certain skaters from certain countries. Why are girls who are trying and falling on these jumps still getting such huge points? Or skaters that aren't getting all the way around still getting the huge points? The reward system doesn't quite make sense to me. And I understand them landing and winning. Of course, that is amazing. It's a high risk, high reward type of strategy. But if you're doing a quad, you have to, rate the risk factor. And I think that the judging is not really taking the right approach right now. If you land, you should win. Absolutely. I think if you don't, if you miss the jump or it's not executed well, girls who skate cleaner with triples should be ahead. Otherwise, what's the point? You'll win with good jumps. You'll win with bad jumps. What's the point of competition at all? It's not a competition anymore. Risk can equal success, but falls should not equal a medal. So this is just an interesting, I think, flaw in our system right now. Hopefully it gets worked out. But all the girls need to work on their flying sit spins. They all have things to work on in terms of skating skills and performance quality, but very excited to continue watching the Junior Grand Prix circuit. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. Please leave me a comment, leave me a review. I love hearing what you guys have to say. Follow me on my Instagram. That's where I'm promoting this. My username is @PaulinaEdmonds. And please DM me if you have any requests for my podcast, any interview requests, or if you yourself would like to come on and you have a fun skating story that you'd like to share. I'm always looking for new voices to feature, so please reach out to me. And stay tuned for my future podcast episodes. I release every Tuesday, and I can't wait to talk to you guys next week.